Moon, and we dive into everything from the latest viral trends in celebrity influencer gossip to breaking news events and so much more. So make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel if you enjoy this type of content. Alright guys, so we're going to start with this video by Spill Sesh. Both videos are actually by Spill Sesh, so I will link her information down below, and please check out her channel and subscribe to it. She does really wonderful content. Alright, so in this video, she goes over Catherine's interview that she did with Call Me Daddy, and Catherine addresses some of the things that Austin said in her book. So let's take a watch.
You guys, Catherine is speaking out, something I never expected her to do, but not only has she spoken out in this book that she is about to come out with, but she has gone on the Call Her Daddy podcast this week, and we're going to get into everything she has had to say. On Tuesday, it was announced Catherine was going on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and Austin was certainly not happy, as he commented on the post saying, "Dropping this on my daughter's birthday is crazy." People did call him out, saying because he was so worried about his kids when he was cheating, and also said, but cheating on his pregnant wife isn't crazy. This comes after Catherine announced on Mother's Day that she was going to be releasing a 2-part book that detailed her life. The first couple chapters of the book were released online, which exposed the fact that she admitted Austin did cheat on her. She said she found out when she was pregnant with their 3rd child. Austin got ripped up online, and he came out to respond and said that he did cheat on Catherine, but she knew he was cheating, blaming the fact that they were not doing it for a year as to why he claimed she gave him permission to cheat. And he claimed that she was lying in her book and didn't understand why she was writing about him, and also accused her of being a danger to their children with the way that she does ayahuasca ceremonies in the house where his kids sleep. She came online to clap back, saying she actually spoke about him highly in the rest of the book, calling him her teacher in life, but he was only focused on what he saw. But now on the Call Her Daddy podcast, she was addressing even more. She said for so long she felt silenced. Not that someone was silencing her, but she was silencing herself, and she was finally ready to share her story. Now, Catherine starts by talking about her parents and how she met Austin, and she speaks highly of him. She says she knew from the minute that they went on their first date that she was going to marry him and have kids with him. They had met at a party, and later Austin reached out to her on social media. She says the first time that they kissed was the first time that they said I love you. 2 months after they met, she was pregnant. She then gets into them starting YouTube and it being one of Austin's friends who suggested it to them, and it just came naturally from there. Then we start the real questions, as Alex asks her about people who accuse her and Austin of having exploited their children on YouTube, to which she denied.
Do you have any hesitations in the beginning or later on about putting your kids on camera?
Alright, so I just wanted to share a little bit here before they get on to the next topic. I can relate to this whirlwind love story that Catherine has with Austin. I'm sure many of us can remember being in our early teens and 20s and met our first real love. You know, not puppy love, not the person you lost it to, like your first time really caring about somebody else outside of yourself. And I think for most of us that typically happens in our early to mid 20s, which is about the time these two met each other. And I'm sure at first it was exciting and different, and then something happened, something big happened. She got pregnant, and that really shifts the dynamic of a relationship. I mean, if they were still in the beginning stages of a relationship and then get into something so big like this, like a big commitment of having a child together, that can really shake things up, because it certainly doesn't seem like it was a planned pregnancy. I can see where it started to fall apart. He was immature and not ready to grow up, and she was starting to go through the process of growing up, especially by becoming a mother. I can fully understand that. A thing does happen, a shift does happen, but sometimes it doesn't with your partner. I've been in a very similar situation, other than the fact that I was with my partner for over 10 years and we were already married when we had our surprise child, but we were certainly not planning for it, and it completely shifted both of our lives, in the end for the better.
Never. And you know why, Alex?
Why?
Because back in the day, it was really new. Like YouTube, it's been a thing for a while, but we were really like that, I hate to say the word, but I feel like we kind of pioneered that family vlogging experience. You know what I mean? It's like we were the first to do it at that magnitude.
There are people that accuse you and Austin of exploiting your kids. Like, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I just think that, like, when we first started, it was so pure. It was like pure intentions. It was like, obviously we want to make a living, you know, like anyone wants to make a living, you gotta work. But it was more like, we're just being present with our family, our daughter. And
so much of your success is through your children. Like, did you guys have a big conversation about setting them up with money and like putting money away for them? Or was it more just like, it's all the families?
Yeah, no, they have their separate bank account. Actually, very early on in my career, I think 2017, when Elle was about a year old, we got her a bank account, you know? Yeah, I think that those were the conversations and things we were having.
Yeah.
But in terms of like exploitation and stuff, like that never crossed our mind. That was like, I just feel like we were just the beginning of something new.
How do you feel about it now?
You know, we're in the age of technology, and, you know, it's like, there's no right or wrong, I don't think. Like,
Alex asks how much they were making at their highest time, and she said 7 figures a month, but she says that she was numb to it and that they didn't have the right people around them and they made bad business decisions. Now,
I have quite a few things to say about putting children on the internet. So, might not be a very popular opinion, but I'm gonna give it. You guys can comment down below what you feel. In my opinion, I give Catherine and Austin the grace here, because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when the family vlogger thing started, no one expected it, first of all, to blow up like this, right? Like, I'm just thinking about YouTube 2014, 2015 days, right? I mean, people were just posting on there and sharing their whatevers, right? And then everything just blew up. And I think that's pretty much where they were doing, you know? There wasn't yet the whole influencer thing and marketing through influencers. So I do believe, to a sense, there was a pure intention there. They just wanted to put online videos of what they were doing with their family, and it blew up and they became one of the biggest. And yeah, I agree with her that they are probably one of the pioneering family vlog channels. They simply are. Did they do a bunch of shitty shit with it? Yeah, of course. But you can't deny that they were one of the first OG family vloggers. When it comes to their children having separate bank accounts, if you take her for her word, great. That's wonderful that you guys thought about that and put that money away for your kids and set them up for life. I just don't believe that that's really the case, because they were so in debt and living off of just one scam off of the other to ultimately lose everything, their house, everything. So you're telling me that they would have had access to all this money and we're just gonna let their house go into foreclosure? No, they would not. They would have taken all the money out. I mean, hey, here's a theory. Maybe they did do that, and when they were starting to lose everything, they were living off of that separate money. Sure, that could happen. But I don't believe that today, in 2025, that there's any money in those children's accounts.
for some tea, she said that Austin made a lot of the financial decisions without her and money would be missing.
In the book, you write that Austin made a lot of financial decisions without asking you, and that it was so extreme you would check your bank accounts and see 6 figures missing. Where was all the money going?
Yeah, there was moments where, I'd see some money coming out and it was, to pay this, pay that. And it was like, I didn't feel like I was having that that partner, that husband and wife conversation about our finances. Mm-hmm. And it would be heartbreaking to look at the bank because I was very well aware of what was in there. And it's like, where did that go?
And we get into the home foreclosure, which if you remember, they were making videos telling everyone the internet was lying on their name over this. It was not that they didn't pay the bills. She said their jumbo loan ended and they didn't have a certificate of occupancy and nothing could save them.
Okay guys, so I do want to share on this a little bit. I can empathize with Catherine because I was in a similar relationship, marriage with a partner that was also very loose with our money. To be fair, the majority of that was to fuel his drug addiction. And so I'm not putting any shame on him, but I do understand that feeling of knowing money should be in your account, watching it being taken out, and then getting a BS answer as to where that money has been going. I can understand that doesn't feel like it's a part. We're sharing this bank account. We both have access to it. We should be giving each other the decency, if we're going to be making high price purchases, to consult each other about it, especially because they're both equally making this money together off of YouTube. It's not like one of them is working, one wasn't. They were both equally working on this channel, so both should have 50-50 access to that money. And it sounds like he was just blowing it on crazy things and not taking care of their responsibilities, which probably led up to this home foreclosure.
Leading up to that moment, I felt like there was a lot of things that I was losing control over, right? My family, my relationship, our career, everything, right? There was a lot of narratives and things that were being said, and I was really strong, and I was like, I'm gonna be strong, and I'm gonna keep fighting, and we have our home. We have our home. Our kids are happy, they're healthy, we're healthy, everything's fine. And so one day I wake up and I get a phone call. It's my father-in-law. He said, "Catherine, the house is under foreclosures all over the news." And I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, your loan ended and it's a jumbo loan. No one's gonna accept you. You don't have the certificate of occupancy." But I'm like, "But I've been paying the mortgage every month for 3 years. Everything, what do I need to do? What do I need to pay? I'll save it. What do we need?" "There's nothing you can do. It's under foreclosure. It's gone. You have 30 days to move out." Oh my God. Yeah. And it was heartbreaking. I cried an ocean. And it's crazy because out of all the things that were happening in that era, that was the thing that really broke me.
Back when they made the video addressing their home foreclosure, they said that the house was falling apart and essentially didn't pay the remaining amount on the house after their loan ended.
I really empathize with that because regardless of what you think of Catherine and Austin, losing your home is such a tragedy, and especially their kids. They didn't deserve any of that. I really feel that. I was in a situation when I was a child after my father passed away. My mother ended up losing our home because she couldn't afford to keep up the payments. Still remember this, but it was like maybe a couple of days before we were already going to be moving out, and the bank showed up to kick us out, and my mom told me to hide and be quiet and keep the lights out, and so we were just super quiet in there. We heard one of our next door neighbors come around and tell the people from the bank, like, yeah, they're home, that's their car. And my mom, one, super embarrassed by that, and two, felt so betrayed that our neighbor for so many years that knew the struggle we were going through was just so quick to run over and snitch us out, And so I don't wish that feeling on anyone. Maybe these two are deserving of losing everything, but losing their home in that fashion and how that's hurt their children is heartbreaking.
I pay, it's
we
direct
pay,
deposit.
You pay.
Oh,
we pay the mortgage.
So it just goes and then it comes back, and I'm like, what the hell? Why does this money just come back into my account, right? Because I do all accounting and look at everything and stuff. And then I call Alan, his dad, who helps us a lot with the house and the other things. And I'm like, "Hey, Alan, what's going on with the lenders? My money just came back." He goes, "Oh, they're saying that they don't want to do it anymore. They don't want to keep.
They don't want to be the lenders anymore."
Yeah, they don't want to be the lenders anymore. Basically, go find somebody else. And I'm like, "But I can't find somebody else because I don't have certificate of occupancy. No one's gonna do it for me."
Yeah.
So then, and mind you, it's $8 million or something. So even if I was a billionaire, I would have just put $8 million to keep a piece of shit, right? What the hell? So anyways, so then I'm like, whatever, you know what? I'm just gonna freaking keep living my life, keep doing what I do, just freaking be positive, just stay positive, Catherine, stay positive. And then one day, I'm on Instagram or something, and someone goes, "Why is your house under foreclosure?" And I'm like, what the hell? My house under foreclosure?
I'll be honest here, never purchased a home, so I don't know how that works. But if we are to take them for that fact that their loan company, for whatever reason, no longer wanted to keep up their end of that loan, could be that they hit a financial struggle, they pulled out of their state, they never really explained it, maybe they didn't like the stuff that they were doing on social media, whatever it could be, and then not be able to find a new loan lender. I mean, that's awful. I don't know. I mean, something about that, like I said, I've never owned a home. I don't own a home, so I don't know how that works. But I don't know. For me, that's a little fishy because I just don't think that they can do that. I mean, unless it's like they filed insolvency or some kind of like bankruptcy, and then that could happen. Sure. I don't know. I don't know. If anybody does know about that, please comment below and tell us.
Then we get into the cheating and how they started as rumors, and she said she didn't believe it at first.
When it first started, my heart sank. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I remember like sitting with myself, oh my gosh, like, is this gonna happen? You know? And then it was like, oh, well, I see him, I'm with him every day. Like, we're co-parenting, we're married, we're business partners. I mean, when is he gonna have time? But it's really interesting. I was telling my mom the other day, I remember when I was 16 years old and I walked into a room where the TV was on, and there was, it was that talk show, Tyra Banks. And there was a lady who said, if a man has enough time to go into the bathroom, he has enough time to cheat. And it just stuck with me. And I thought, does he have enough time to cheat on me? You know what I mean? And so that was kind of like the beginning. It's like, I don't know what's true or not. And you know, I'd even have moments where we'd be laying in bed, you know, just falling asleep, and I'd get a text from a random number. Your husband is out at a party with me, da-da-da. And I'm thinking like, he's right over here. So there's moments I didn't know what to believe.
That is so awful to have to go through that. Again, regardless of what you think of Catherine as a person, she certainly didn't deserve to be cheated on when she made a commitment to this man and they have children together and a business together. And that's got to be awful because, yeah, I can imagine there are a lot of thirsty hoes out there that are going to say, oh, yeah, I'm with your man, da-da-da-da-da. And then she's looking right at him and he's sitting right next to her, whatever. But then there were plenty of times that people were trying to look out for her and tell her the truth. So that's very unfortunate. I've been in that situation too many a times where I knew my partner was cheating on me, and I would have people tell me that they were doing these things, and sometimes they were true and sometimes they weren't. They had other motivations. They were trying to get with my partner, or they were trying to get with me, whatever the case might be. So it can be really tricky to be in that situation. I definitely empathize with her.
She says he denied it at the time, and she does say that when the cheating allegations started, the very first one, she doesn't believe it to be true, which is interesting.
You trusted him?
I did. Yeah, I really trusted him.
When you look back at the very beginning, like the very beginning allegations, do you believe even then he was cheating?
No.
I've been in this situation too, and I'm sure many of you have as well. Like, of course you want to believe the person that you're with. You don't want to think that they could do something like that to you. So everybody hating on her and calling her stupid and other names, insulting her intelligence because of her putting up with his cheating is just uncalled for, because many of us have been through that same situation, and even if in our hearts we knew that they were cheating, we just weren't ready to believe it. Everyone has their time, and it took her this long, but she's come out of it, and I think she's definitely coming up on top.
She later gets into the times that she knew he was actually cheating. She says that she had just had their second daughter 6 months prior, and Austin needed to go to Miami for a meeting. She said she wanted him to feel free and not held back, and she heard him on the phone with other women.
He pocket dialed me accidentally, and I heard women in the back. There was a couple women, and I thought, okay, well, I guess my husband's hanging out with women. Yeah. I'm thinking, whatever, hung up the phone, continued my day. A couple of months go by, and this blonde male makeup artist makes this video on YouTube talking about my husband and how he was in Miami, and there was this group of people, and there was all these girls, and there was this boat and all these, and to be honest with you, till this day I never watched the video, but I have gotten that like information from some good friends who watched it for me and were able to like process it for me and help me process it. And I was pregnant in that moment, and I had to listen to that, and nobody knew I was pregnant. I was having my son, and I remember bawling and thinking, is this true? And even if it's not true, why are people saying this? This is like so detailed, and like, and I believe, you know, I didn't believe the horrors, but it was like, am I just being stupid right now? Like, am I just really not sitting with this? Or do I vindicate him? Do I vindicate our family? And that's what I did.
The video I'm sure she's referring to is when Cole Kerrigan posted his video about Austin and his dad. Catherine said at the time she was just focusing on being pregnant, honestly, and getting through this time period. And when it came to the cheating, Austin said it wasn't true, and all she wanted to do was fix the situation.
It was more like, how do we fix this? Because this is not true. And he's like, yeah, that's not true. that's, you know, what, this guy, and he's making things up, and oh my God, he's trying to extort me, and this and that, and you know, some of those things were true, some of them weren't, and I thought, how do we fix it? And I was just lying to myself. I knew deep inside something didn't feel right.
Yeah.
She explains the minute she knew he was cheating was when they took their daughter to her first haircut. They're filming, there's fans around them, his assistant friend is with them, and her phone dies. And she asked Austin for his phone quickly so they don't miss the moment. And she says that's when she saw a text come through that had her believe the rumors.
As soon as I got the phone, like out of a movie, this long text comes through. If you really love your wife, you wouldn't be da-da-da-da-da. And I like, my brain scanned it, but I wasn't able to read it fully. But in that moment, my heart drops. I'm pregnant. There's people watching us. The camera's on. It felt like, it just felt surreal. The assistant notices, looks at him. He grabs the phone from me and instantly deletes the message. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's true.
I can relate to that feeling as well, like knowing the whole time that your partner is cheating on you and then finally getting the validation and the proof that you were right. It is such a relieving feeling to know that you weren't going crazy, because at those times I'm sure he was lying to her and telling her that it wasn't true, it's made up, that she's crazy for not trusting her. You know, the whole gaslighting thing people do when they're cheating. So in the end, I totally can relate to that feeling of just being like, finally, yes, I was right. I'm not going crazy.
She said she got home and blacked out just trying to get answers from him.
Blacked out. I was like yelling, screaming, tell me, please, please just tell me who that was. Please just, I feel so stupid. Just tell me, I'm having a baby. Please just tell me. And I ran out of the house. I got in my car and I just started driving. And I didn't know where I was driving, just driving. Crying in the ocean, bawling. I couldn't even see where I was driving. And I thought, I need to park somewhere. So I went to a park, parked at the park, put my hands on the wheel, and I said, God, if you hear me, please tell me what to do.
She said a voice told her to just be strong, get through the pregnancy, and she said she went home, acted like nothing happened, and they didn't talk for a couple days, but then he confessed and she just wanted to fix it.
Dude, it's just, people don't really think about the consequences. What kind of psychological damage you're doing to that person. They start to get so insecure about themselves. They think that they're going crazy because they're seeing things right in front of them, text messages and all sorts of other clues, and they're being told that that's not true. It's so heartbreaking. You start to lose trust in yourself as well.
And I texted him and I was like, we need to talk. And we took a drive. We met in the middle of a street and we got in the car and he told me who she was and he showed me. And I was like, okay, so that was the girl you were talking to a couple months back. Now it's all making sense. Like you said, you were talking to a girl that needed help with Snapchat. And I'm thinking like, why is a married man talking to a woman about Snapchat? Like Snapchat wasn't even monetized in the day. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you doing? Like, okay, this is making sense. Okay, this is making sense. Okay, so I thought, okay, well, what do we need to do? Like, how can we move on from this? Like, what?
She says it never felt apologetic from him and says she never even heard him admit that he cheated up until a few weeks ago when those chapters of her book got leaked and he addressed it online.
Even through our divorce, even through everything, I never heard him say the words, I cheated, until about a week ago when that first chapter of my book came out. I've never heard him say the words, I cheated. And when I heard the words, I was like, oh my God. Finally, I heard it. Thank you so much. That was all I was waiting for. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear. You could have just said it to me. You could have just been honest with me and just told me. But it was like I was being gaslighted. Like it wasn't actually happening. And it was like, yeah, I think that finally hearing those words was so healing for me, because it's like I wasn't going crazy. Like it was everywhere. Everyone was saying it.
And she says what he said on Snapchat was all lies, and it really bothered her that he tried to make it seem like she gave him permission to cheat.
But the one thing he said that really, really just like, it was like a punch to the gut, was that he said that yes, I cheated and she was okay with it as long as, he said, as long as I said you don't embarrass me. And that is not true. I never, ever, ever said that. I would never say that. And I would never want my kids to think that that is okay to cheat on your husband or your wife. And I will make sure that I raise them and that they know that they never, ever do that, because that is so wrong. And you never cheat on the person you love.
The importance of not cheating on your partner. I think that more people should have that conversation with their children of what kind of damage you're doing to a person because you're being selfish in that moment and want something that you shouldn't be having. And if you do want somebody else that much more, then you should have the decency to break up with the person that you were with, because they deserve at least that much respect.
And she says there were like 20 some women that he cheated with.
But I know of many.
Many as in like,
I know for sure of 3. Like for sure.
have they ever reached out to you?
No, but they're out there in the world acting like that never happened probably. And I know the truth.
How many do you think there are?
I don't know. I saw some headline things saying he said there was 20 or something. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch his full video. But I don't know if he did say that, kind of trying to cover himself.
Yeah.
Because I think when he saw the beginning, the first chapter of my book, he thought maybe that I wrote a lot more about him, but I kind of didn't, in a sense. Like, to be honest with you, it's a memoir about my life. But I will say that when you write a book, you always put the hardest part of your journey in the beginning of the book, right? To catch the reader, to really draw them in. That's just something that, as writers, is common. And so he really got it backwards.
Alex then asks her about Tana Mojo because Tana has admitted that she lied to Catherine when she was with Jake, and Austin made her lie to Catherine and say that a lip liner was hers when it wasn't.
Tana Mojo recently revealed that she covered for Austin after you found lipstick in Austin's car. What really happened there?
So she covered for him, which I believe that it's probably true, definitely happened, because I remember we had a Lamborghini at the time. I never drove that car. And I got in one day as a passenger, and I noticed there was a lip liner. Lip liner or lip gloss, something like that. And it wasn't mine, and I thought, and I'm like, whose is this? He's like, oh, so-and-so got in my car the other day, and his girlfriend was on the lap, and I drove them down the street to get into their car. And I just said, I'm like, I don't believe you. Like, at this point now, I don't believe you.
Right.
He's like, I'm gonna call him right now. And so I guess she was there.
Oh my gosh, I am so happy that she addressed the Tana thing. I always wondered like how much truth was in that story because this is coming from Tana Mojo, so I'm glad that she talked more about what actually happened that night and how it happened, which looks like, to be fair to Tana, it happened the way she said it.
And she says that Tana publicly talking about that is hurtful.
I think her publicly talking about that is hurtful. Why didn't you call me? Message me. Tell, oh, hey girl, I was there on that phone call. I just want to let you know, that wasn't true.
I'm with her on this. If they were all friends, then Tana did owe her the courtesy of telling her something if she knew it, or at least heard something about it, right? Like, I don't think that girls have each other's backs anymore. They're so focused on other things and not really having that girl camaraderie that used to be out there. And it seemed like she only talked about it when it became enough of a scandal that it was going to blow up on the internet. To be fair, Tana does have a knack of knowing when and where to kind of expose things to make it the most viral that it can be. She has a talent for that, for sure. Really feels like that she did hold it for that particular moment. And if they were actually friends, not just like internet friends, then Catherine's right. She did owe her that as a friend.
As far as Austin hiring nannies to sleep with them, she says that never happened. They didn't have nannies, but she confirms this Miami yacht story where multiple people were in bed, which, if you remember, Cole was talking about this in his video exposing the Ace family and Austin. And in this video, he says that Austin was with his own dad participating in this nasty, disgusting event.
Did you ever get confirmation if the infamous yacht happened?
Yes, I actually did. Yeah.
Wow. And that was when he butt dialed you that weekend?
That was that weekend, yeah.
How did you get confirmation?
Through a friend who's married to a guy that was physically there.
All right, I'd like to hear from everybody in the comments down below who you think the relative was that told her about the girl. I'm going to tell you my theory, his brother. Let me know what you guys think below.
She talks about him denying inviting a woman to their Staples Center event and the fact that, he was talking about this on Snapchat, that it never happened.
And that's where I found out all the lies. So like that moment was a significant moment in my life. So of course I'm going to talk about it if that was life-changing for me, because I was pregnant when all of these things were going on, and I got confirmation from one of his family members saying, I told him not to bring that girl, and da-da-da-da-da, and I'm thinking like, what, you knew too? Like, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, like, I'm just being blindsided over here. Like,
she later talks about their intimate life and the fact that after she found out about the cheating, she shut down intimately with him. And she later talks about the fact that Austin tried to make her look crazy by saying that she thought she was the Virgin Mary and she doesn't think that at all. And she talks about why she did stay with him for so long, and she says that as much as she was hurt by him, she was protecting him from what the public would think about him and didn't want the father of her children to get publicly humiliated. But over time, she realized that he already was publicly humiliated by everything that has been said about him. Now, going to the moment that she knew they were done though, it wasn't until she went to Brazil for a retreat, she says, after her 33rd birthday, that she had this experience on ayahuasca, and she came home and realized that the two of them were on different vibrations and they needed to separate. She said she wanted a divorce. He just said, okay, and that was it. She said she didn't want to make a YouTube video about it because there was no way that he was going to tell the truth with the cameras on if he couldn't tell it when they were off. And she addresses how he's gone on Snapchat and played recordings of her reaction to the video that he made that he wanted to post online, apparently. And she says that she feels like this whole thing was like a setup, that he recorded her saying that, you know, don't post that because you're gonna look bad, to use it against her later on somehow, some way.
I talked about this topic a little bit already on the previous video, so I just want to go back to what she said about her psychedelic trip, and that being kind of the thing that pushed her to get divorced, right? So she had this psychedelic experience, this mind-altering experience, and that was the thing that gave her that push, that gave her that courage, that the right thing to do for her and her family was to finally end this marriage. And seems like Austin didn't put up much of a fight, so all that boohoo crying he did on the internet was such fake. Just all about him to me is just fake. So I'm not surprised whatsoever that he willingly divorced her.
Like,
That's crazy that he's like secretly recording
manipulative. It's manipulative.
And it's illegal.
Well, that's what I was told too. And I thought, well, I don't want to go that route because, I mean, we were filming each other and doing pranks and things throughout the day. And then he would say, well, we used to film each other. And then the fans would say, well, you guys were always filming each other. And I thought, oh my gosh, can my book just come out? Because I'm like, I just want to move on, truly.
She also addressed the ayahuasca and the fact that Austin said that he was concerned for his kids' safety. She says she never does it when the kids are in the house, and nobody has ever been concerned about the use, and ultimately Austin just wants her to look crazy. Now, in addressing when she met her current boyfriend Igor, she admits that it was on that Brazil trip that they met, but her and Austin were done.
So I met him on my Brazil retreat. Met in the middle of the Amazon. You know, I'm very honest just with my journey. Like, I think for a long time I was afraid of sharing timelines because I was so in the limelight and on the camera all the time, and it's like the timeline started to kind of scare me a little. Now I own them. Yeah. It's okay. Like, it was over between us. And it had been many years of us just not having this emotional, intimate marriage.
Alright guys, it seems like Igor might have been more of a push for her than the psychedelic experience, right? Okay, I'm just kidding. Maybe it wasn't, but maybe it was. Maybe all those things together, her seeing that, hey, there are better options than Austin MCBROOM out there for me. And just probably just fed up in general. Pushed her to that. But again, I do believe that that experience is in general what solidified that decision for her.
So Catherine was airing out Austin, and honestly, she wasn't even saying anything that was like so bad that we didn't already know. I think, you know, she was just telling her truth, and there were times where she was talking highly about him, but I'm sure Austin will take all of this as Catherine exposing him and talking negatively about him, and I'm sure we will hear from him in the coming days. But that was what was said on the Call Her Daddy podcast.
Alright guys, so now we're going to watch the second Spill Sesh video that is on Austin's response to Catherine's interview with Call Me Daddy. So let's see what Austin has to say about all of this.
You guys, of course, Austin MCBROOM has responded to Catherine going on the Call Her Daddy podcast. He's bringing up the kids, trying to say that he doesn't actually fully want to respond, though people are calling him out because he's trying to say that she shouldn't have gone on Call Her Daddy because of their kids, even though people are like, okay, but you shouldn't have cheated because of your kids. It's a whole situation, and we're gonna get into everything that is being said. This week, Catherine went on the Call Her Daddy podcast and didn't hold back, spilling major tea about her life with Austin MCBROOM. She revealed when she found out Austin was cheating on her, and also said that he lied when he tried to twist the narrative by saying she gave him permission during a rough patch in their relationship to cheat. Catherine also addressed the shocking claims about Austin, including confirming the rumors of him in Miami told by Cole Kerrigan to be true. She did debunk some rumors, saying that there were no nannies ever involved in any cheating scandal as they didn't have nannies, but admitted that Austin inviting another woman to their Staples Center event was true, and she called him out for trying to deny doing this when his family has confirmed this to her. She also exposed that Austin made significant financial decisions without her knowledge, and hundreds of thousands of dollars would go missing from their bank accounts, and she wouldn't know where that money went. Catherine described how she often felt like a clown in the circus, playing along with staged romantic gestures for YouTube while questioning the authenticity behind the scenes. Catherine also spoke about Austin secretly having recorded her and the fact that he kept it until this moment in time when she's coming out with the book, and he shared this secret recording of her where she's telling him, hey, don't post this video where you are confessing to cheating because I think you're gonna get a lot of backlash. And she felt like he was using this clip of her to manipulate the narrative online in his favor somehow, some way, waiting for a moment where she was ever going to like speak out about him, because in this video it sounds like, you know, she's caring about him and doesn't want him to get backlash. And so Austin's trying to make it seem like, oh, Catherine, you know, once was caring about me getting backlash and now she's speaking out, like what the heck's going on? Which Catherine addressed. She said, you know, she was looking out for him in that moment. He shouldn't have posted that video because it didn't seem genuine when he was talking about having stepped outside of his marriage. And she talked about wanting to protect him, but that she needs to tell her story too. And that's exactly what she's doing right now. And it is part of her story that he cheated. And that's his fault. Now, in response to Catherine speaking out, Austin hopped on Snapchat and said that he planned to make a whole response, but he's choosing not to go there for the sake of his kids.
I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for my response to the podcast. And if I'm being honest, I was very close at giving you guys exactly what you wanted. I was getting ready to drop an atomic bomb. You know my little ass ran to Snapchat. I even went as far as getting dressed up and even buying the pink chair. But I realized that there is nothing in this world. When I say nothing, I mean nothing. There was nothing in this world that is worth something affecting my kids. And you guys know me better than anybody. When it comes to my kids, I'm gonna pick them first every time. And so I realized in order for this shit to stop, the best thing for me to do is not respond. Because you guys see what's going on. It would just continue and it would affect my kids. And my kids don't deserve it.
Oh my God, this is just so much with him that I don't even know where to start. He literally just admitted to buying the suit and the chair. Like, are we for real? Okay. But this whole I'm not gonna do a response for my kids is just so fake. My theory is that he can't do a response because everything that she said was true. And when it comes to the Cole Kerrigan stuff, I mean, the things that were alleged there were crimes. So, I mean, in the legality sense, I get why he can't respond to that specifically. But when it comes to the other things, like the other cheating rumors, he knows he can't say nothing. And even if we're in some alternate universe and he's telling the truth, right? No one's gonna believe him anyway. So it's just better for him to keep his mouth shut. But this whole I'm doing it for my kids' sake, that's just so fake, dude. Okay, whatever. You're doing it for your kids. We all know the real reason. Well, we might not know, but we can all speculate. We're smart adults here. We can put two and two together.
They also didn't deserve you cheating on their mom, but okay. I also feel like, what does he have to say in a response video? Like, seriously, just own what you did and silence, please. You've done enough. Like, what are these takes? Like, he's showing on his phone on Snapchat. Like, what on earth did he have to say in these videos? And then, like, he decided not to wear the glasses because in one of the videos, he's got glasses on, then he decides to take them off. Like, what is this? And then he tries to say that because of the podcast, he was unable to go and open presents with his daughter Elle for her birthday.
Elle called me this morning before school, and she asked me to come over to her mom's house so we can open up all of her birthday gifts together as a family. And obviously, I was unable to do that. That shit broke my heart, and Elle doesn't deserve it.
I mean, dude, if you can't go over on your daughter's birthday, I guarantee it's your fault. You created this toxic environment where Catherine can't stand to be around you. So if you have anyone to blame in this situation, Austin, it's yourself.
To this, people online were saying nothing was preventing him from going over there. He clearly just can't face the music of what's happened in his actions. Though he tries to say he takes full accountability for what happened, people aren't too convinced, especially since it seems like he's gonna say more, and then the Snapchat slide just like ends abruptly and the next slide is completely different.
I just want to say that I take full accountability on how we got here today. You guys ready? We got a surprise.
People reacted and said, I love when people who actually do the wrong thing blame others for exposing it. Man broke his family for lust because he had needs. For real? Was he thinking of his kids then? He's trying to convince himself because none of us are buying this BS. He just loves hearing himself talk at this point. Such a narcissistic response. When you approach a narcissist with proof, they all of a sudden think of someone else's well-being. Oh, I would respond, but it'll hurt this person, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. But they have no problem acting out when you keep your mouth shut. He's using that as an excuse not to take accountability. If anything Catherine said was false, he would have made a video so fast. Oh, now he cares about the well-being of his kids? Like it didn't affect his kids when he cheated. He humiliated her for years in public and private. She's allowed to stand up for herself. I love that Catherine isn't allowing herself to be silenced anymore. He's upset he can't control the narrative anymore.
I mean, okay, Austin, just whatever. You take accountability for what? You can't just say that. Like, that's the thing about the internet that is so frustrating. Influencers have learned now that they can just say that, oh, I take accountability, I'm sorry, this and that, and all the drama, all the mess is gonna go away. No, people aren't falling for that anymore. You have to actually say why. I mean, I get it. When it comes to like influencer apologies, right? They're kind of in a lose-lose situation. No matter what, no matter how much time they take or don't take, they say what they don't say, people aren't gonna believe them. There's always going to be a section of people who aren't going to believe them, right? If you really care about fostering your audience, then at least for their sake, maybe kind of go over what are the things you are going to be taking accountability for, what you're actively doing right now to change that so those things don't continue to happen. I think if he was just real and raw about it like that, people might give him a chance. Catherine was absolutely right to tell him not to post that video because it wasn't genuine. She even gets it. People want to see genuineness from their influencers. All the flashing of the money and the cars and the vacations, people don't care about that anymore. And I think a person like MCBROOM, who is used to his content being so flashy, and that is what he is known for, he doesn't really know how to get deep and down with himself, because I think if he does, he doesn't like what he has to see. So he'd rather just live this exterior life and not really do the deep work, which I think is the work that Catherine is trying to do, and why she's not only fostering the audience that she had, but she's gaining a newer audience of people who are trying to look more inside themselves and be more introspective. But again, that's just my opinion.
He later went to live stream, and of course, people were asking him about Catherine on Call Her Daddy, and he was getting fed up, you guys, and said that he wasn't going to judge someone for how they make their money.
You guys keep bringing up Call Her Daddy podcast. Good for her. Good for her. I'm not gonna judge anybody on how they make their money. And I got nothing to say about it. Like, good for her.
Do Dude, he is such a hater. He is so mad that she is getting all this attention. He's mad that she got offered a book deal. He's mad that she's getting offered to do interviews on podcasts. He's mad because people are more inclined to believe her, even though she has quite a reputation herself of doing some pretty terrible things. Nothing compared to what he's done. And so he's just a hater, and he's just gonna respond like a hater. I take it with a grain of salt.
This reaction was crazy coming from someone who was literally the one who actually ruined their family. Like, he cheated. She's just saying what happened, and to be so honest, it's not anything people didn't already know. Like, there were already so many cheating rumors over the years about Austin. She isn't making some shocking statement. It's shocking that she's talking about it, but it's not shocking the information that we're hearing. His reputation, it was already ruined. Like, she's not doing anything to ruin his reputation anymore, honestly. But he clearly can't handle the confirmation coming out. Also, him saying that he's not going to judge someone for how they make their money after he went crazy and got that RV and was posting all that weird Snapchat stuff last year. Like, yeah, you have actually no right to judge how someone's taking their money. Plus, that was just so backhanded the way that he was talking about her going on Call Her Daddy like that. But also, Austin, you guys have been called out for scamming people over the years, so let's not talk about how people are making their money. Let's not. Catherine is promoting her book about her life, and this wouldn't even be a chapter or two if you kept it in your pants. But anyway, as this all is being confirmed, people have gone back to old Ace family videos, and there's one from 8 years ago when they first started posting, and Austin admitted to low-key cheating on someone before. And it seems his reasons back then were his same reasons now, and this was truly the biggest sign of once a cheater, always a cheater.
Never have I ever cheated on a significant other. Ooh.
I want to make sure it's alright. Ew! Low key? What do you mean low key?
Low key, that's what it means.
What does that mean though?
It means that.
Explain.
Ew.
Ew.
Next question.
Ew.
Alright guys, this is what it means. It means I was obviously younger.
Younger as in what age?
I was in high school, okay? And everybody goes to that situation where at the end of the relationship, you're in one relationship, at the end of it, it's like almost, you guys are almost done. So I was like, you know what?
Almost done, according to what?
Or you guys are done, as in like, the relationship's like falling apart, like it's just, you don't want to be in that relationship anymore. But the reason why I say it's cheated is because I still was with that person. So I decided to, you know, mess around over here because this situation was done in my eyes. So that's why it's low key. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if that's really considered cheating because it's done, you know?
You disgust me.
Right there just shows how different these two are and even were then 8 years ago. He's sitting here laughing while he's defining the definition of low-key, and she's looking at him with low-key disgust, but just unapproval in general, right? But to be fair, I don't agree with phrasing that kind of defines like one action as all. Specifically, we're talking about here, once a cheater, always a cheater. I think that humans are way too complex to be just categorized so quickly as you do something once and so you're always forever that thing, right? There's nuance and stuff. And in this particular situation, they're talking about high school, which, okay, all the other adults here are going to agree with me. High school doesn't count. It just doesn't. Those are practice relationships, right? Your first times and things. I don't agree that he cheated on that girl. I'm just saying, defining him now as an adult based on that age group of 16 to 17 years old, I don't think that's fair. People do grow from that. This one, however, clearly didn't. And in retrospect, probably she should have taken that as a clue to run, but hey, that's retrospect, so.
People commented and said, the fact that he looked proud to say that, the fact that he's laughing and thinks it's funny. And why is he laughing? Seriously though, like, why is he laughing? I think in his mind, he's thinking, oh, because I was in high school, like it's not that big of a, oh, but clearly it's a pattern of behavior. So
there's nothing to be laughing about. He just looks bad in all of this, and he's only making himself look worse as he keeps making these like side comments about Catherine in a negative way, and how he's claiming to not respond, but he's definitely responding with a whole bunch of shade. But that is what Austin has come out to say since Catherine was on the Call Her Dad.
Alright, so I guess to no one's surprise, Austin is being a child about it and saying that he's going to not be responding with a video, but taking little clips here and there and responding to things that he's cherry picking out to respond. So don't think anyone is surprised by anything that he just said. Alright guys, so we had to hear what both individuals had to say. Again, just kind of like in my previous video, I'm definitely taking Catherine's side on it. Again, that I don't agree that she has done some pretty terrible things. In this particular situation, I do appreciate her honesty, her rawness. It can't be easy to come out and tell the internet how you were constantly letting your husband just cheat on you back to back to back. So that was super brave of her to share that part of her story. When it comes to Austin, I'm not surprised that he's gonna act like a 10-year-old about it and say he's not gonna talk about it, but then cherry pick the things that he does want to talk about. So that is going to wrap up today's reaction. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as much as I did. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and drop a comment down below with your thoughts. What do you think of the video? Do you agree with my reaction, or did I miss something? I'd love to know. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a reaction. Bye guys.